Hi, I'm so excited to share with you this episode with Nikki Closser. Please sit back, enjoy, listen to Real Women in Real Estate. Hello, hello. Welcome to Real Women in Real Estate. Today I have Nikki Closser, and she is going to talk about her journey in real estate. Hello, Nikki. Thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Lisa.
How are you
Thanks for
doing?
having me.
Of course. I'm extra excited because Nikki is an amazing woman, amazing mom, a powerhouse in her own field, but she's also an investor. And today I would just love to jump in on how you got in real estate. What did you do? What were, some triumphs, some challenges, but really just to motivate people. So if you can kind of tell us, how did you get started? And is this your 9 to 5 job?
Yeah. Oh, Lisa, you're so sweet. So many nice things that you just said about me. All those things are
Love you.
true for you. I love you too.
Thank you.
I
Thanks.
don't know if people need to know this, but we met in a local, well, back when I lived in Washington State, we met
Yeah.
in a networking group. I
Yeah.
needed a real estate agent
Yep.
and we had already built a relationship from the
Yes.
networking. And
Yes.
yeah, so then you were my agent to start.
Yes.
And yeah, so
And
awesome.
you did awesome on that deal too. Those are one of my fondest memories as a real estate agent was you
Yeah.
buying that house and then selling it. So that was an awesome
Yeah,
experience
and
too.
I knew nothing about real estate at that time. So that was 2015 is when I
Oh
bought that first
yeah.
house. Yeah, I knew nothing. My only experience with real estate at that point was when I had bought my own condo before I met
Mhm.
Dan, my husband,
Right.
in 2004. And
Wow.
then of course everything went, and that was in Michigan where I bought.
Yeah.
So it was really bad. And I was like, I hate real estate. I'm never
Yeah.
buying it. Like I was just jaded about real estate.
Right.
So, I was nervous about buying that house in Seattle, and it was the best decision I ever made for sure.
Right.
That first house,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And then it did it like so just so the everyone knows. So you lived in Michigan, you moved to Washington, and then now
Mhm.
you're back in Michigan. And that's
Correct.
actually where you're really investing, right?
Yes, yes, all of my
Yes.
buildings at this point are in Michigan.
Okay. So
Yep.
since you just mentioned buildings, let's just lay out the what do you have right now? What's your portfolio right now?
Okay, so I have 49 doors, and
Okay.
they are all commercial multifamily. So 4 1, 2, 3, 4, spread across 4 buildings, so 49 doors, yeah,
49 doors. Awesome.
yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about like one step back.
Yes, yes.
You didn't even start as a single unit rental, did you?
No. Well, okay, so
Okay.
that Seattle house, because we were going back, so Dan and I are from
Yeah.
Michigan for people who don't know that. So we were going back and forth from Seattle to Michigan, and I was a photographer full time.
Yep.
That was my job. And so all of our families in Michigan, and I had 2 studios, in one in
Yep.
Washington, one in Michigan, and I wanted to work while I was in Michigan, so we would
Mm,
Airbnb our Seattle house while we were in Michigan. So that was
right.
kind of my first like dipping my
Taste.
toe in, but
Yeah.
it was stressful. There was a lot of anxiety around it, the
Mm,
guests and the cleaners and the whole 9, and the
yeah.
apartment buildings, and I'll talk about how I got there, but those apartment buildings, I feel like I do not have to worry about, like, I sleep very
Yeah.
well at night. There's
Oh,
not
that's
a whole
awesome.
lot of, like, anxiety around, that with managing an Airbnb. I was like, "Ah."
Yeah. And do you
So
currently own any? I know the answer, but I'll just share. So
no.
you
No,
know.
no, no, I do not.
Yes.
And this is just a personal preference. Some
Right.
people truly love Airbnbs, and it works really well for them. For me, I
Yep.
was always stressed out if the guests were happy and
Right.
all of it. But
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
that makes sense. So then what made you decide to start investing? And then what made you decide to go into multifamily like right
Yep.
away?
Yep. So I host a photography podcast right now, the
Yep.
Portrait System. And when I was invited to be the host of it, my producer at the time, Aaron, he was like, okay, he was interested in, and he was investing in real estate himself. He was
Right.
like, you need to listen to this podcast called Bigger Pockets. And I want you to listen to 10 episodes so that you can learn how to be a host because they have really
Oh,
good hosts. So he
yes.
was like, I want you to listen to Bigger Pockets so that you can learn how to be a host. So I listened to like 2 episodes, not having any, I didn't think
Mhm.
I thought I was just listening to how to be a good host. And after the second episode, I was like, Dan, why are we not investing in real estate? Like I'm listening to these people's stories, like, holy, like I
Yeah.
need to do this.
I remember
And
you calling me like, girl, we need to do this. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. So, we went back and forth about selling the Seattle house and what to do and talking with you and just, oh no, actually, Lisa, before that, we got a HELOC. We did a
Oh
home
yeah.
equity line of credit on the Seattle house after I listened to
Yep.
these episodes, and we were gonna do a flip. We were gonna buy a
Yeah.
cash flip in Michigan because we moved back to
Yes.
Michigan in January of 2020. We were gonna do a flip, and we were under contract on a home, did the inspection,
Yeah.
and there were issues in the foundation. So we walked away, and we were standing on the sidewalk with Brian. You know Brian,
Yeah.
my commercial agent.
Yes.
He's also a residential agent. He was like, "Why aren't you investing in commercial? Like, you have 100 grand at your
Yeah.
fingertips right now." Like, a lot of people would like kill to be in that situation to buy
Right.
commercial. And that's when I started learning the difference between how you can force appreciation in commercial
Yeah.
multifamily versus single,
Yes.
1 to 4 units in residential.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. So tell me about your first deal then.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so I was just searching the MLS and so, just looking everywhere, and I ended up finding it on Zillow. A 6
Mm.
unit. It was, listed for 2 years, and it was still on the market, and my agent's like, I wonder why it's still on the market," and I kind of like if something's been on the market for a long time, that does not
Yeah.
scare me at all.
Right.
Because this particular building, it was 6 units, and now in Michigan, things are a lot cheaper, so if you're out there in the Pacific Northwest, I'm about to say these prices, you're gonna be like, "What?" Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
different, very different.
Yeah.
So, the building was listed for 297, and, the listing agent, probably a no-no on his end, I was like, "Why is it still for sale?" And he was like, "Well, he wants full price for it, and people are lowballing." And we ran the numbers, Brian and I, my agent, who is very, very, just detail oriented and very conservative with his numbers, which I love.
Right.
And he was like, "It works at," we said
Yeah.
290. And I asked if he would do seller financing, the seller, and he did. And so I put $70,000 down,
Mhm.
and let's see, it was less than 2 years later, I did a cash out refinance. It was valued at 420. So, yeah, walked away with a check for $117,000, and I only put in 70 initially. And we actually
Right.
just listed it for sale for 550. So it just went up for sale for 550. So if I get 550 for it, I'm at
Yeah.
like a 200 over 200% return.
Oh, wow.
Like
Yes.
100% a year. You look at the stock market and you're lucky if you get 7% right now, 8%.
Exactly. Yes. 110%.
Lisa,
I
I
totally
didn't
agree.
know any of this. Like, I was a school
Yeah.
social worker for 12 years before this. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
invest in the stock market,
Right.
IRAs, 401ks, all this stuff. I'm sorry, but that has done nothing to build
Yeah.
generational wealth for my family and my life,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
as real estate. It has changed my life.
Oh, that is so awesome. Once you see that, you're like, wait a minute. And you're in control of your own destiny and your own
Yes.
wealth versus just putting in the stock market and just like waiting it out. And you're able to be in control of that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And then also you're going to be able to pass this down if you choose to hold them to your children and continue that growth and wealth. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't stop with just that one. So then
No.
what was your next one?
Yeah. The next one, real quick before I say that next one,
Yeah.
for anyone out there who might are still like you're still learning about all of this,
Yeah.
I'm not a super fast learner. I'm not someone where like all this new information comes really easy to me. I need like
Yeah.
repetition and to learn. Like I just
Yep.
wanted to say like this is it's really not it's not that difficult if you just take the time to learn the basic concepts. It
Mhm.
truly it's not it's not as intimidating as it might seem. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Where did you go to start? Because that's actually one of the things that I want people to get a takeaway is seeing live, real, strong, and
Yes.
women like actually investing for themselves. And if you have any suggestions, like where did you go? Was it Bigger Pockets or was it people? Who did you
This
talk with?
Yeah, the stories on Bigger Pockets, that was a big one for me. That was really
Mm,
big for me. And honest, I'm a bit of a risk taker. I mean, I'm a
mm,
calculated risk taker. Some people I don't think would jump in as quickly as I did or
yeah,
whatever, because I really did not know anybody who was doing this other than this
right,
guy that I grew up with since elementary school. And he's like a huge, insanely successful commercial investor in the
right.
Detroit area. I knew he was doing it and I talked with him for a while. So like finding a mentor, and I know he's not a female, um, but there
But
was
anybody, yeah,
yeah, yeah. But if you know of anyone who owns any sort of commercial properties,
right.
just talk to them about it, and learning about the difference, like I mentioned before, of how commercial properties appreciate versus residential. That's something that's really, really
Yes.
important, and how to force appreciation and those types of things for sure.
Right. Absolutely. And then with your units, you also do Section 8 too, right?
For our Detroit building. I know you had asked me about the next building I did. I ended up
Yes.
getting an 11 unit for 475,000, and that was in March of 2021.
Yeah.
And because my first building was September of 2020, second building March of
Hmm.
2021, and that one, we're in the middle of a cash out refinance for that,
Right.
and it's appraising at 750. And it hasn't even been it was a year in March, and we are in August now. So like a year and a half.
That is awesome. So just
Yeah.
so everyone could like make sure they got the numbers, what did you purchase that one for?
475, and we had 20% down. So we were able to get a loan
Yeah.
through a credit union at 80% loan to value.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so awesome. And it's
Yeah.
now valued at 750.
750. And Lisa,
Oh,
we
that's so
didn't
awesome.
even like, yes, we did a lot of deferred maintenance,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like we did these full rehabs or anything like that. Like we did
That's
deferred
awesome.
maintenance, and as the units turned over, we appropriately priced the
Yes.
units for market rent, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And then
that
write it
was,
out.
I mean, and I have a property manager. I don't do anything except make decisions here and there, and I
Right.
sleep, you know,
You sleep well.
yeah. So yes, okay, so for the Section 8, and this is where
Yeah.
Rain City came in, is we unfortunately were in a loan process with a company that I personally would not recommend to anyone, and we were in, like, the ninth hour, the 10th
Yeah.
hour, whatever hour is, like, where you're gonna be screwed soon.
Yeah.
I was like, "Aaron," okay, so the podcast, um,
Yeah.
my old producer, Aaron, is now my business partner in real estate investing, and so now
Yes.
we are doing starting syndication. So Dream Life
Right.
Investment, or sorry, Dream Life Investors is our company that we do together now.
Oh,
So I'm
wonderful.
like, "Aaron, why didn't I think to call Lisa sooner? Like, what was I thinking?"
Love
Because
you.
in my mind, you're still a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
loans or whatever. So it just took
Right.
me a minute to remember that. So I called you and you're like, "I'm gonna talk to my boss. Like, I think we might be
Because you
able to do."
remember, you're like, who do I call? I'm like, girl,
You're like, "Me?"
me. I can do it. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to him and see if we can do mixed again. Let's do this. Yeah, I was
Yes,
so excited.
yes.
Yeah.
And
And I think,
your whole team was like, just like
oh,
swooped in and saved the day so that we didn't lose out on this really amazing deal in Detroit, where there
yeah.
are Section 8 tenants. Yes, some of them
Yes.
are Section 8.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I think how we closed that pretty quickly too. That
Very
was,
quickly.
yeah,
Like, I can't believe how quickly you closed it, to be honest. It was incredible. It was an absolute
that's
incredibly
awesome.
amazing experience start to finish.
Oh,
Compared to
thank
this
you.
other company, especially, we were like Aaron and I were like, "Yes, Rain City," like, "Yes, Lisa, thank you, thank you, thank you." It just
Of
worked out
course.
so well.
Love it. I love
And
it.
yeah, so these buildings are in, a lower income
Mhm.
area, traditionally lower income area of Detroit, and one of
Yeah.
the things that's really important to Dan and I have buildings together. Aaron and my husband, Aaron,
Yeah.
my business partner, I, and his wife and Dan, we have
Live
buildings
together.
together under Dream Life. And something that's really important to all of us is, to be ethical. Like, we're
Yeah.
not trying to come in and just raise rent on people and put them out on the streets. Like, that's just not
Yeah.
how we roll.
Nope.
So, there are, unfortunately, in Detroit, there's a huge pool of great tenants and a
Yep.
lot of not great landlords, putting it nicely.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So this was one of those situations where you had a lot of great people who, there's just not a lot of opportunity, like a lot of places to live for people in Detroit that,
Right.
it's, yeah. Anyway, so we were super lucky to come in and do some of this deferred maintenance for our tenants, and the majority of them stayed because they were like, we wanted to live here. It's close to a grocery store in walking distance, which
Yep.
is important for people in Detroit who can't afford car insurance. It's very expensive,
Yes.
and they need to be able to walk. Anyway, so our tenants are just, good people who needed a good landlord. And in the
Yeah.
meantime, we're doing deferred maintenance. And yes, we are increasing rent, but they're getting better
Quality of
quality of
it.
life as well. So they're willing to
Yes.
stay and pay it.
Yeah.
So it's like business and being a human being, like, all wrapped in one,
One.
and providing
Yeah.
people with a nice place that they deserve to live in.
Right.
So it's been really, really cool.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. How is that building going, too? Because that's in the
Oh,
process. Because how many units was that? We didn't mention how many units?
32.
That was 32.
Yep, it's 2
Yes.
buildings, one is 6 units and one is 26 units, sorry, 26 units.
And then have you guys, what is your end goal with that one? Are you going to hold it? Are you going to sell it or not quite sure yet?
Yeah, I mean, once our loan period is up with you,
Yeah.
obviously we'll get traditional financing and we'll
Right.
probably end up, because the value of the building will have increased
Yes.
significantly once we get to
Yes.
that point. So we will likely do a cash out refi and then hold the building for a couple more years until we get the value up even more and then we'll
We'll
sell it
sell
from
it.
there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So through this journey process, what were some of the struggles that you faced, starting out and
Mhm.
just jumping in? Was there any moments you're like, oh, I wish I would have known this that maybe you can tell
Yeah.
somebody else? Like what kind of
Yeah.
struggles did you have?
Learning how to kind of evaluate a building and whether or not it is something to move on, it has been really important for me because I don't want to have to send every single building to my
Right.
agent, be like, "Can you run a pro forma on this one?" or, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I've learned to kind of research certain markets. I mean, Michigan is a
Yeah.
little bit easier for me because I know
Bit there.
the area like the back of my hand, which
Yeah.
is great. But I also like I'm always on like HUD fair market rent website.
Yeah.
I am on Rentometer. I am looking at different Craigslist list ads. I'm evaluating like, okay, you know, if this rent roll says this is what they're currently charging,
Yeah.
does the numbers work? Like what's the cap rate? Like all of these things.
Yep.
So I think just back of the napkin, learning how to evaluate if it's a good deal or not is really going to be important and save
Yep.
you a lot of time.
Yep.
So that was something that I had to really learn, especially now that Aaron and I are doing syndications and other people are
Yeah.
investing in our buildings.
Right.
That's crucial. Like, it's one thing
Yeah.
if we made a mistake or something with our own buildings, but when there
Right.
are other people involved, I need to be like,
Right.
this is tight. This is a tight, amazing deal.
Right.
So that
Uh,
is something to
okay.
learn. Yeah.
Absolutely. What about I, one of the things I love about your journey through this is you were in school, you were I'm sorry, a speech pathologist, right?
School social worker close.
So yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I
That's
should
okay.
know that. My bad.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine.
Yeah. Yes. But you're there. And then you're still in photography, right? Or
I
are
am.
you?
Yes.
Yes. And amazing at that, by the way. She's done many of
Thank
my
you.
and even my
Thank
family
you.
portrait. Thank you. And then now you're doing real estate and like that journey of like your just willingness to learn
Mhm.
and figure out. And if you don't know something, you just do it. And I think a lot of times people want to invest, but they can't take that leap of faith in
Mhm.
themselves. And so I appreciate you sharing that piece of like just start learning how to break down the deals and figure out what was your favorite win through this process so far?
When, it's more of kind of an overall sort of win of how this helps my life and helps my family. You know,
Awesome.
photography isn't something that I want to do forever. I want to
Yeah.
retire from that at some point, and real estate's going to retire me from that. Like it is
Yeah.
going to allow me to be a farmer mom and be able to be we
Yes.
have 10 acres at one of our houses in Michigan that
Yes.
I have a garden on, like
Yeah.
to be able to have this time with my kids and not have to do a 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
it's and again, it's like building generational wealth. Like my kids,
Right.
if they choose to, will
Yeah.
be able to take over my real estate business when they're old enough if that's something
Right.
that they're interested in and I hope they are. But,
Yeah.
this is something that it's not just and once you have a certain amount of properties and
Yeah.
like, we're doing value adds right now, but once we're
Right.
ready to just purchase cash flow buildings and that's it, it's like it can become pretty passive. Like
Yes. Yes. So do you think you're going to be sticking to multifamily only? Are you commercial buildings? Are you going to be doing mixed use? Like what is your vision or not sure quite yet and you're just willing to explore anything? Tell me about that.
yeah, for now, commercial multifamily because we feel really comfortable with that. And that
Right.
is something that I know like the back of my hand right now.
Right.
There we've talked about maybe adding in self-storage. I don't know, but at this point, that's where my comfort level is.
Yeah.
And so I don't see myself straying out of that until I feel like I'm ready to.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
But
That makes sense.
again, I mean, the world, I feel like the world's my oyster. Like, who knows
Right.
what'll come of it, you know? So,
Yep. You don't ever limit yourself.
yeah.
One thing I also wanted to just touch bases on is you had a partner that you now is your partner, but
Mhm.
he was also in the business. You learned from him. You guys are now partners. And then
Mhm.
you also said you had property management. So it's almost
Yes.
like your team. And I just want to
Yes.
emphasize on your team, and what makes you successful is you have one. And tell me about your property management, why you use them, and what benefit does it have for you?
Yeah, this is such a great point because having a strong team is so great. Like the strengths that I have are different from the strengths that Aaron has. And
Yep.
so we can kind of like bridge
I
that
get you.
gap between, yeah. And then the strengths that our property management has is even, bridges it even
Yes.
more. For me, having a proper property manager who knows what they're doing,
Yep.
who is also ethical.
Yep.
I've heard of horror stories where certain property management companies will just raise rent as high as they can because they're getting a percentage.
Yeah.
And whereas my property manager is also my agent, my real estate agent.
Yeah.
So he has a property management company. So he has skin in the game. It's important
Yes.
to him that we do well because he knows we're going to continue to buy buildings with him. And he
Right.
wants it to go smoothly just as much as we do.
Right.
And so he's very knowledgeable and he yeah, he just having him on our team is like gold.
Oh, that's
It really
awesome.
is. Yeah, yeah, and having a great attorney, that's been
Ooh.
really important as well for us to make sure our
Okay.
contracts are legit and that, if we have any issues like one of my buildings,
Yes.
we had an issue with the previous owner, and it was really great to have our attorney
Mm.
and also a really great CPA. Those are the things that I think, so
Make
far have been amazing for us. Yeah.
have you I feel like so I'm actually in the process of interviewing property management, and
Mm.
yeah, it's been fun. And I feel like you like won the jackpot with yours. Like,
Yeah.
how did you find them? Because I'm telling you that can make or break
Yeah. Yeah.
being able to
I
sleep at night.
think I think, when I initially found Brian, his name's Brian Jones Chance out of Ypsilanti,
Yeah.
Michigan. And when I
There you go, Brian.
initially was looking for him, I was looking for just someone because we wanted to buy a house to flip.
Yep.
But I also wanted someone who understood investing. So I think I typed into Google like real estate agent investor in Michigan or so, it was something
Yeah.
like that. And I just happened to pull up his site and I saw that he owned a local brewery
Yeah.
and he also invested in Detroit. So I knew if we were going to go, I wanted someone
Yes.
who understood investing. To me, that was
Right.
really, really important. Even though I didn't know I was going down the commercial route, I
Right.
knew he understood investment in general. So
Yes.
to me, that was really crucial. Instead of just like picking a company that it's just like high volume, turnover,
Right.
constantly, like that was not something I wanted. I wanted
No.
a personal relationship with this person because they are the backbone of our
Yeah.
properties.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you
So,
is there anything because I completely agree with you. Like
yeah.
it's crucial because it will help you sleep at night knowing that
Yes.
it's being taken care of and taken care of the way that you would want it to be taken care of. It
Mhm.
is so important. Do you I'm a big believer in timing, and sometimes you just got to jump, but are you glad that you did it at the stage that you are now? Did you wish that you would have done it? Do you ever have those thoughts like, oh, I wish I would have
Oh,
done it?
Lisa,
Uh,
all the time. I wish
yes.
okay, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life. I don't really regret any of them because I
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of taken me to where I am now and I've learned so many lessons.
Yes.
That is the one regret I have is not starting to invest in real estate sooner. Like that if I could, especially because 'cause I'm
Yeah.
45, it's
Yeah.
not like I mean, I'm young. I
Yes.
feel like I'm way younger, but
You're very young.
it's, it's
Yes.
one of those things where it's like, if I had started even 5 years or 10 years sooner, gosh, I would be retired. I mean, I would just be
Yeah.
like, on a beach in Maui right now, thinking Mai Tais. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
But the beauty is
no,
that you're not
it's
55 wishing
yeah,
you would have started at 45, right?
yeah.
Why I asked that is I think people need to hear that. Like, you can start it when you're 30.
Mhm,
I mean, I bought my first investment one when I was 21, and my family
mhm.
thought I was crazy. And I'm like, no, I want to own real estate
You
now.
still have that house, don't you? Or did you sell it?
Oh, that was my third house that I still own it. And that's the one I'm
Okay.
trying to get property management in.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was my lesson one. That's a
Yeah.
lesson on I don't want to be a landlord. That's that
Yeah.
house. But yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
one thing I wanted just really quickly, I know we don't have a lot of time
I
left,
know.
but
It's okay.
the property management, I still have to manage the property manager. Like they
Yes.
aren't perfect. They can't read my mind. I can't
Yes.
assume that they know what I want at all times. So I
Right.
am still managing them. We have a weekly
Oh,
hour
perfect.
call. What's that?
That's perfect.
Oh
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. And we get updates and we talk about certain things and what we want done, so you
Yeah.
do, it's not like all of a sudden you're like, sweet, go on with yourself and then I'm done.
Yes.
Like there is some management there, but yeah. And then the second thing I was going to say is like one of my best friends has a significant amount of money saved that they have
Yeah.
saved over the last 20 years and it's sitting
Yeah.
there. And every couple months she's like, "Okay, tell me more. I feel like we should be investing." And I'm like, "Yes,
Yes.
yes, you should."
Yeah.
And she hasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know that she ever will, unfortunately. I hope that she does.
Yeah.
Um, she deserves that,
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
I do.
always like, what is that money doing for you
Right.
sitting in the bank? Like, what is it doing for you? And she's like, nothing. It's like my security blanket. I'm like, exactly.
Yep.
So you have choices. You can either sit on, and just
Yeah.
like, let's say 100 grand. If you've got 100 grand in savings, that money is always going to be 100 grand.
Look what that
Unless
100
you,
grand did for you. Like you
exactly,
lit.
Lisa. That is exactly right. And we
Yeah.
didn't even have it saved. It was a home equity line of credit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And so that $100,000 has now turned into 49 units. And that's just the
Yes.
beginning. Like
Yeah.
we actually just had an offer in. We didn't get it unfortunately, but um on another 40 units, but we didn't get that one. But we are
Mm.
like, that is another challenge that you have to know how to search for. You need multiple lead magnets coming or lead
Yes.
lead sources coming in at all times. Like
Yep.
deal sources just yeah, because
Yeah.
that's a tricky part too, is making sure you are analyzing and looking at multiple deals in order to find the next one. So
Are you only looking in
yeah.
Michigan or are you looking outside
No.
or where else are you looking? Because
Interesting that you say that because with this property that's up for sale right now, if it
yeah.
sells quickly, I'm going to do a 1031 exchange.
Right.
And if I can't find a deal in Michigan, I'm going to look or other places. So I have been looking out of state, couple
Okay.
different states. And yeah, so we'll see. I'm just evaluating markets at this point and looking for deals and because I won't be able to
Awesome.
use Brian as property management in a
Oh
different
yeah.
state, but he can
Yeah.
help like, we'll have him on his asset management where
Mm.
he will manage a property manager, and then I manage Brian, who manages the property
Yes,
property
absolutely.
manager. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, Nikki, I know I can talk to you for hours. Just you have a wealth of knowledge. You've learned so much in this time period. And I'm excited to see where you're going to head in the next 40 years and us drinking Mai Tais on Maui because you have lots of properties. So thank you so much for joining us today. So
Thank
thank you.
you, Lisa. Thank you for all of your help all the
Oh,
time with everything. I adore
anytime, my
you.
friend. I adore you too, girl. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.